carry on. Dude, that's something I could totally do. Especially because it's got like it's like a thing. It's got like the hair for like the hair and like face, and then you go over your face and do that again. I like that. See, I like this. I like this. See, I need I should be doing, yeah, I should be doing this. Okay, so I have to remember to do this. Yeah, I can't do this. Is that there something else? I have no idea what that thing is. It didn't say about this before. think about getting. Maybe we just put like flat screen, not smart screen, but just a flat screen. TV, and I have to get to my. Yeah, almost is this. Vizio 4 years. Yeah, I think that's what I get. Let me see this one. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. It's missing. Well, it's the same thing. It's virtually the same TV that about 2 years ago. Just don't know why it needs to be. I might look at Best Buy. I need to look at Best Buy and see if just to see. And then I got 20 minutes. I have not done one thing with my podcast. I need to do that. Let's see if I did this, like I did this, like, let's see. think this is the way to go, right? If you get this, the 15th. If you get a 7. See, I could get that and have that all that done. So on Monday. I think I want to do that. I think I'm going to do that. It's too small. Very similar, you know. Yeah. So I think, yeah. So that's what I want to do. So. So, but now let's go ahead and let's do this. I'm almost 2 minutes there. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. This is my podcast where we talk about what went down in the weekend of college and pro football. As usually, we start with college and we're in with pro. And obviously, due to what today is, we'll have some thoughts at the end of the program about today and its meaning and everything like that. But before then, let's go ahead and start with college football. By the way, I know this is a day late and I apologize for that. There's some things happened yesterday that needed to be happened. So, this is a day late. But this should be every Wednesday from starting next week until the end of the season. So college football. What happened last week in the college football? Well, Indiana beat Kennesaw State 56-9. Texas beat San Jose State 30-7. Arch Manning apparently still did not look like himself, even in that game against a San Jose State. He had 5 touchdowns, but still there was people were still saying this certainly wasn't the performance that you would think Arch Manning would give against San Jose State University. So Texas Tech beat Kent State 62-14. Illinois trounced the Blue Devils 45-19. Squeaker, Iowa State beats Iowa 16-13. That kicker for Iowa State kicked a long field goal to put them ahead at the end of the game. That was amazing. Penn State beat FIU 34-0. Florida State beat East Texas A&M 77-3. Texas A&M beat Utah State 44-22. Georgia beat Austin Peay 28-6. Grambling State was shut out by Ohio State 70-0. Tennessee beat East Tennessee State 72-17. Ole Miss beat Kentucky 30-23. In a absolute beat down. The Oregon Ducks beat Oklahoma State 69-3. I was talking last week as if this was going to be maybe one of the closer games of the weekend. It just turned out to be. They should instead of facing Oklahoma State, they should have faced Southeast Oklahoma State. The way they beat them down 69-3. Damn. Kansas City and Missouri hadn't played in several years since Missouri moved to the SEC, but they kept on with their winning ways. 42-31, Missouri over Kansas. Clemson beat Troy 27-16. South Florida with an upset over Florida 18-16. South Florida's got a big one this week. We'll talk about it in just a little bit. Utah beat Cal Poly 63-9. South Carolina beat South Carolina State 38-10. Bethune-Cookman Bethune-Cook University beat No, they did not beat. They got beat down by Miami of Florida, 45-3. Auburn beating Ball State, 42-3. LSU beat La Tech, 23-7. Uh, the, the marquee matchup of the weekend was Oklahoma and Michigan. Oklahoma beat Michigan 24-13, and Alabama shut out Louisiana Monroe 73-0. Look ahead to this week's games. Some nice games here and there. We still got some other ones as well. This one, I'm not that big. I'm not that bothered by Indiana versus Indiana State. To me, just like I talked about last week with South Carolina State, even though it is on the FCS level, I have no problem with Indiana or South Carolina, anybody taking on their other state school. You know, South Carolina wants to take on South Carolina State. I'm fine. If Indiana wants to take on Indiana State, I think that's cool as well. If Illinois want to face Illinois State, I'll be happy with it. But so I'm okay with this. That happens actually tomorrow, Friday, which is going to be a very interesting one. Let's kick off the Saturday's action, right? Wisconsin taking on Alabama. Uh, first time in I think they said 2 decades, a Big Ten team has traveled to to Alabama to face Alabama at home. That's interesting. ACC action is Clemson takes on Georgia Tech. Oklahoma is at Temple. See, I like this. This is what I'm talking about. If you're in a Power Four conference like Oklahoma is in SEC, if you want to face Temple, fine, but go face them at Temple. Go face them on the road. Good job there by Oklahoma. I love that. Oregon's at Northwestern. What Oregon did to Oklahoma State, boy, they could maybe do to Northwestern twofold. We'll have to see about that. Central Michigan is at Michigan. Um, South Alabama is at Auburn. Villanova is at Penn State. Villanova is one of these teams that in the college basketball world, they're in the FBS, and actually I think I don't even know if like there's like an FBS or Division 1 or Division 1A basketball because of the way it is, and one wonders if that's what your college football is. If college football should not be like two levels, FBS and FCS, but who knows? And if it is going to be two levels, I don't know why Villanova isn't isn't in FBS. So it should be. Uh, we got some SEC action. Georgia at Tennessee. That should be a fun one. Oregon State's at Texas Tech. Nice. Louisiana's at Missouri. Iowa State trying to keep it continue is at Arkansas State. UTEP versus Texas. Again, this is another game for Arch Manning in Texas. They should, Arch Manning needs to use this to get on the roll because they will be heading into SEC action very soon. I think the game that most people, including myself, are really looking forward to South Florida versus Miami of Florida. Can South Florida go into Miami and beat the Hurricanes? 2-0. Could they 2-0? Could they be 3-0? And if they get 3-0, they have a very big chance of going ahead and being in that group of 5 team to make it into the college football playoff. If you beat Miami, you don't know. They did beat Boise State, but you never know how the things can go here. But South Florida's got a really big chance here to make it to, make a name for himself. Ohio versus Ohio State, which is usually something that always happens, but it always seems to be at Ohio State. I've never seen Ohio State go to Ohio and do that. I think that should be more. That should happen more often. Arkansas is taking on Ole Miss. Western Michigan University is at Illinois. Another marquee matchup: Texas A&M at Notre Dame. Very good. Last year, Notre Dame went into Texas A&M and snuck out a victory over the Aggies. This time it's going to be Texas A&M hoping to go into Notre Dame and sneak out a win there. Notre Dame lost their first game to Miami. If they want to get the college football playoff, I think they cannot lose this game. I don't think so. I think Notre Dame needs to continue. They're ranked 8th. If they lose to Texas A&M, Texas A&M would always be. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be we don't know what their season ends up with. Like, but that could be the thing that would keep them up, because Texas A&M would have beaten Notre Dame. Maybe if you're looking for that 10th, 11th, 12th seed, maybe, you know, Notre Dame with 2 losses, but one of those losses was to Texas A&M. That could hurt them. So I think Notre Dame has to get down together and make it busy. Florida's at LSU, Vanderbilt is at South Carolina, and Utah is at Wyoming. So there you have it. Those are some of the games. Just a few of the top 25 teams that are happening this weekend in college football. Now let's talk about what went down in the National Football League and what's going to go down next week, starting tonight with the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. Now to the National Football League. We will start with last Thursday's game between the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles as it kicked off the entire league. Cowboys came out, started off as good, just got a touchdown on the opening drive, and they were a lot better than a lot of people thought they were going to be. So, and it should have been, because for some reason people really thought they were just going to be bad. No, that's because they traded Michael Parsons to mean they were going to be bad. That's still a ton team. Dak Prescott's still a very good quarterback, and they've got they've now got George Pickens there as well, so they've got some talent on that roster. So it's no surprise that they came out with a start. The big thing that comes from that is that not Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott. And that was just insane. He got kicked out for it. The NFL said that that's going to be suspension. He's going to forfeit the game check. But I'd really like to give him one more game, just to be sure, because that's not cool. And he's just been a troublemaker. He was a troublemaker like his entire career. And I know people here in Chicago you should have drafted him. I'm glad we didn't draft him. I don't want the headache that, even though at the time he may be, he's going to be a headache. And let's talk about it. He's a headache with all of the people in Philadelphia there to help him. All of his people are from Georgia and Nick Sirianni's crew and all those other people, and Lane Johnson and those type of people who who go, Jordan Mailata, who ruled that locker room with an iron fist, and he's still acting like a dickhead. So yeah, he wouldn't have that here in Chicago. So Jalen Carter is right where he is. But Eagles did beat the Cowboys after the offense looked pretty real in the first half. Nothing happened in the second half after the lightning delay. So Eagles beat the Cowboys 24-20. The Chargers surprisingly beat the Chiefs on Friday in Brazil, 27-21. Xavier Worthy got injured in that game. He may not play this week. And the Chargers looked like they were something special. Justin Herbert, since he's just been running a lot more since he's been with Jim Harbaugh, and I think that's just added another thing to his game that has made him more dangerous. So we'll see if the Chargers can keep it continuing. Now to Sunday's action. The Colts beat the Dolphins 33-8. Daniel Jones looked spectacular. And the question is was that Daniel Jones in a Shane Steichen offense, or was that Daniel Jones against a Dolphins team that looks to be maybe not ready for prime time anymore? Tyreek Hill always has something to say in Tua Tagovailoa. You just don't know with his injury history. I think as a quarterback, I think he's a very talented quarterback. I think the people to say he's not a good quarterback, I think is ridiculous. The thing you have to worry about Tua is his injuries. Now, the Steelers beat the Jets 34-32 on a 60-yard field goal from Chris Godwin. Everybody's hitting 60-yarders nowadays. My kicker can't hit a 50-yarder, so. And somebody else's kicker can't hit a 50-yarder either. He was released. We'll get to him in a second. But the Steelers beat the Jets 34-32. Aaron Rodgers 4 touchdowns in that game. He couldn't wait to beat those Jets. The Jaguars beat the Panthers 26-10. Travis Hunter was mostly on offense in that game. I think this week he's going to be a little bit more on defense. I think they've already said now because the Jaguars are going to be facing a more offensive team with more weapons on the receiving court. The Cardinals beat the Saints 20-13. Commanders beat the Giants 21-6. People are always now starting to call for Jackson Dart. I don't. To me, I just say if you got Russell Wilson, I do not know what happened to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson just fell off a cliff when he was traded from Seattle to Denver. He has just fell off a cliff, and he's not been the guy who he was in Seattle. But one has to wonder, like, what happened? How did he fall off a cliff that fast? And seemingly that hard as well. I just don't know. He was on. If you would have said 3 years ago when he was in Seattle that Russell Wilson is on his way to being a Hall of Fame quarterback, you said, yeah, I can see that. The last 3 years have not been Hall of Fame worthy, and that's incredible. The Buccaneers beat the Falcons 23-20. The big thing from this game is Emeka Ibuka, who's just been a shining light down in Buffalo, down in Buffalo, down in Buccaneer land. As Chris Godwin is getting over his injury from last year. He's gonna take a little time to come back. And they drafted this guy. He's been a godsend. Baker Mayfield loves him. I think he had 7 catches, 77 yards in that game, so he was incredible. The Bengals finally started year 1-0. They beat the Browns 17-16. The Raiders beat the Patriots 20-13. Geno Smith looked good in that game. Drake May did not look good, starting off his sophomore year a little slow. So we had that. 49ers beat the Seahawks 17-13, but very costly. They seem to have lost George Kittle for a few months and a few weeks. And same thing could be with Brock Purdy. He's got turf toe. They're saying anything from try making it go come Sunday, or he'll be out 3 to 4 weeks. Everything like that. Also, he got some pain in his shoulder as well. So you just don't know with that stuff happening down there with 49ers. The Broncos beat the Titans 20-12. Excuse me. Packers destroyed the Lions 27-13. And it's already starting. Are the Lions missing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn? Listen, I don't know if they are or not. It was not a Lions team. Now maybe the guy Johnny Morton, who's the new offensive coordinator, was just he wanted to take things slow, and the Packers weren't gonna let him. So we'll see. They've got my Bears. They are the better team than the Bears. This will be the one, because if they can come out and beat the Bears, then I don't think there's no need to worry. But if the Bears beat the Lions, then I think there will be something to worry in Detroit land. The Rams are beating the Texans 14-9. And maybe the game of the year already, week 1. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo Bills came back from 15 points down to beat the Ravens 41-40. Tremendous thing by Josh Allen. I've said this on this podcast for the last 3 years, and I'm going to continue to say Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and there is nobody who can touch him. Nobody, not a one person who can touch him. Again, I don't care about 3 rings. I don't care about 2 MVPs. I don't care about an 0-4 record. Against somebody in the playoffs. The eye test tells you Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the game, and he's already a top 10 quarterback of all time, possibly even a top 5 quarterback of all time. And on Monday Night Football, talk about having a lead. They have 17-6 lead after a Nashawn Wright pick 6, 17-6, and the Vikings came back with 21 points in the 4th quarter. To take the lead. The Bears got to score a late touchdown by the end, but Cairo Santos didn't have the leg to kick it all the way out of the end zone, and that pretty much cost the Bears the game. The Vikings win 27-24. So now we're looking at week 2 again tonight. We got the Commanders at the Packers. Should be a very good game. Michael Parsons was a big deal against the Detroit Lions on Sunday. He should make his presence felt, against the Commanders as well. And we'll see if Jaden Daniels and the Washington offense can take control. And we need to see about the Packers to see what the Packers are going to do as well. The Giants at the Cowboys on the Sunday's action. Um, the Giants just need to do something. Score some points. They were down at the goal line in that Washington game and didn't come up with anything. Cowboys, like I said, they were pretty good offensively. It's gonna be hard to get a pass rush without Michael Parsons, but the former Bears coach Matt Eberflus will have to make some things up and bring some other pressure. And for what we're seeing, it's gonna affect Russell Wilson as it should be. So there's that. Seahawks at the Steelers. First week of the season it was Aaron Rodgers' old team. Now we got the DK Metcalf's old team. We should see what they should do. They should put up some interesting points against Seattle. And Seattle's they're gonna try to continue after the loss of the 49ers. Rams at the Titans. This is the home game for Karen Ward. We'll see how he plays this first game. And Matthew Stafford and Rams, had a slow start against the Texans, but we'll see now what they do against the Titans. The Bills at the Jets. This doesn't seem like the beatdown they looked like at first a few months ago. It still could be a beatdown because listen, but who knows? Aaron Glenn, the Jets playing hard and fast, and listen, I don't trust Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is a running back who just can throw, but he did play well last week. We'll see if that continues, but this should be the Bills. This should be another victory for the Bills. They should be 2-0. Patriots at the Dolphins. This is going to see. We're going to see where the Dolphins are at and where the Patriots are at. This is going to be a certified game for this to see where these two clubs are at and in which direction are they going. A lot of people think the Dolphins are going down. This is a September game in Miami. Gonna be hot as hell. So we'll see what they can take advantage of that against the Patriots. The Jaguars are at the Bengals. 49ers at the Saints. We mentioned it before. George Kittle's out. Brock Purdy might be out. And they released their kicker Jake Moody because he had some kicking issues in the game against the Seahawks. So they have a new kicker now as well. So we'll see. The Saints are just, they are one of the teams, who are just, who are in the rating for the #1 spot next year. We can see where it goes. The Browns at the Ravens. Can the Ravens step back up? The Browns are going to play this team hard, and they beat the Ravens last year, I believe. And beat them a couple of years ago too when Deshaun first had that injury. Yeah, so the Browns have been tough out for the Ravens. We'll see if the Ravens can get the track back going. The Bears are at the Lions. Again, this is another statement game, but for both teams. The Lions, if they lose this game, what direction are they headed? Now, I'm not saying that they're gonna just go and tank. I'm not saying that, but it's gonna be tough. Be 0-2 and make the playoffs. I think there was a stat the other day on ESPN. There's like 4 teams out of a whole bunch of teams. Only 4 teams went 0-2 and made the Super Bowl. So it's gonna be tough for the Lions if you go 0-2. And my Bears, Caleb just has to get better. He has to become accurate and play around. I don't know why people out there thought the Bears could beat the Vikings. The Vikings were a better team. The Bears are not the better team than the Lions. The Lions should win this, but we'll see. The Broncos at the Colts. The Broncos, good victory, although Bo Nix did not look as well as he looked last year in this first game. And Daniel Jones looked the best he's ever looked, more than likely. So we're gonna see if this Daniel Jones is still looking good, or if that was just the Miami Dolphins. Panthers at the Cardinals. Cardinals looking to go 2-0. Panthers looking for a victory, the first victory of the season. Marquee matchup, Eagles and the Chiefs. Rematch of the Super Bowl where the Eagles just destroyed the Chiefs. Um, Listen, if you're the Chiefs, you could try to go out and you could try to make a statement and try to put 60 up on the Eagles. But I would just try to win the game, get back to 1-1 because you're already a game and a half, virtually behind the Los Angeles Chargers because they beat you in the week. So that's all you the Chiefs. That's all you should be doing. And Eagles, just keep it to you. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll see what happens. The Falcons, Sunday Night Football, the Falcons at the Vikings. That should be a very interesting Sunday Night Football game. Vikings, can they keep it continue? After their big win over the Bears on Monday Night Football, and the Falcons lost. Can they get back on track? I think Drake London is got some injury issues. He may or may not play in that game, so we'll have to wait and see. Two Monday Night Football games. We've got the Buccaneers at the Texans. And the Chargers at the Raiders. Chargers and the Raiders are the bigger game, I think, because both teams are 1-0, looking to get into the division. Go 2-0 in the division is very easy. And again, especially if somehow the Eagles do beat the Chiefs, and you're now 2 games ahead of them. The Chargers would be 2.5 games if they beat them. That would be big. That would be very big for both teams, the Chargers and the Raiders. So there you have it. That's the look ahead to week 2. Let's go ahead and let's close this thing out. So that is it for this episode of the Game According to Me. Once again, I know this is on Thursday. It's normally on Wednesday, but next week it should be back. And every Wednesday after that should be back on Wednesday. So make sure that you have it marked down here on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please, wherever you're listening to this, if you listen to this on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, or if you're listening to this on YouTube as well, please, make sure that you go out and you check the description box. You follow me on all of the social medias that I have. You follow me on all of the other platforms that I am on as well. Keep in touch there too, and just appreciate the listening. Keep rating the podcast, keep sharing the podcast, and helping me out. I truly appreciate it. So today is Thursday, September 11th. 24 years from the most deadly attack this country's ever seen. And maybe what seems like one of the few times where this country came together, whether you were black or white, or you were Republican, Democrat, whether you were gay or straight, came together, and we weren't divided. We were Americans, mourning the tragedy on that fateful day. And a day after political conservative activists, whatever you want to call them, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. And it has been nothing but hate towards him and his family and the other in the conservative side from the left. My side, the left. Trust me when I say that, I don't ever want another tragedy for that to happen again on our soil. Never. And I do wish we were back then to where we weren't so divided. So divided that we couldn't come together and just be one. One country, one people, one America. It saddens me. My thoughts to those who lost somebody that day in 9/11. My thoughts to those who lost somebody who signed up for the military to fight in the wars that came after it. And they gave the ultimate price for our freedoms. My thoughts go out to everybody who has been affected by September 11th, 2001. And yes, my thoughts to the family and friends of Charlie Kirk as well. I always say at the end of these podcasts, be good to each other. I mean it no more than I do today. Be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out here. And I am out.